Fortnite Season 4 has had a lot of mythic superhero items, and while I expected there to be maybe 3-4 max, somehow I sit here with a list of over 13 of them ready to rank every single one worst to best. But I can't do this alone, so I'm calling it backup because these mythic items are insanely OP. Sam, I'm so scared because I think that guy right down there has the Iron Man UNIBEAM and he's getting closer!
Wait, the UNIBEAM? Oh, geez. Oh, yikes. We gotta go, Tommy. We gotta go right now.
All right, so yeah, you know when we bring the SpongeBob memes into this, that this video is about to get serious. All right, tier maker list set with every mythic item. Sam, explain how it works.
All right, so we've got the expert grading system that we have invented, and it is as follows. God tier. Good. Okay. Meh. And, booty cheeks.
All right, first up we have the Silver Surfer. And this one's really interesting because it's not really a weapon to kill people with, but it's more as if like a mobility item, right?
I feel like
to be honest,
is not the strongest, like,
it
definitely
isn't.
like lower on the list, but you never have to take fall damage again. You get free rotations. You can escape a box at any time. You get
And don't forget combining them with the Iron Man gauntlets, because if you cancel it, you could just do the auto aim and it's just super OP. I was doing that all the time. But there are a ton of cons to it, like the cooldown, which is like what, like 17 seconds, I feel like sometimes?
The cooldown. It's so long. And the glide makes you super exposed if TTVs want to spray you out of the sky.
Oh God, which is every time. All right, so where are we putting it? We got, like I said, God tier, probably not God tier, good.
I don't know about
I'd say
good.
it's all right.
It's okay.
I'd say okay.
You know
It's
what?
between okay and good.
I think okay is a good, I like okay.
But we can't forget about the Silver Surfer trick, which is like the whole, like you hit the Silver Surfer button and then it just gives you no fall damage, but you fall right there. And then you could just 200 pump someone in the face.
Oh my God.
To be honest with you, I think this might be a good, Sam.
Next up is Doom's Gauntlets.
All right, so now we have the Doom Gauntlets, which I like to call Iron Man ripoffs, because they're not really as good in my opinion, but they do more damage, but I mean, like, you don't have literal aimbot with it, so they're all right.
Let's talk pros. So the things never run out of ammo and have no cooldown. The thrust jumps can be great for mobility and taking height.
All right, but you have to understand, when you want to get these things in an actual Battle Royale match, it's pretty congested at Doom's Domain. I mean, seriously, it's like Tilted Towers, but like literally an ocean of sweat, so I don't know.
You got those kids camping the porta potties over there at Doom's Domain. It's not ideal. I mean, besides nonstop firing it builds, the damage of the gauntlets too, like that's another really important thing to think about. Like the gauntlets don't even do much damage to players. I don't know, where are we putting this on the list?
Here's what I have to say about it, right? In trios, when you have multiple people, you're able to like really let these Doom Gauntlets go and start destroying everyone else's builds. But in solos, you really can't, because if you peek out and you start doing it, you're gonna get beamed immediately. To be honest with you, I would say that they're okay, but I don't think that they're better than the Silver. Well, maybe because they have the mobility.
If you're gonna put the surfboard up there, I would.
We got
put it
ourselves a double whammy, Sam.
I think we're gonna end up with a double whammy on the good. Now, on to Dr. Doom's mystical bomb. So Dr. Doom's bomb is terrifying. Like, it explodes.
It also sets literally everything on fire. It turns Fortnite into California at some points. But to be honest with you, even though it does do all that, it doesn't do a lot of damage. I mean, compared to many other mythical items, it's not that great.
You've got to lob this thing. It is very slow. You get it from a congested POI or a boss fight. This is like easily the least used Marvel Mythic you see in games right now.
I've never gone to the vault at Doom's Domain and chosen the mythical bomb over the arcane gauntlets. Can you say the same?
I feel like the only reason people are hyping it up is because we've used the thing for so long.
All right, so let's take a look at the tier list here and see where we're putting it. Honestly, it's definitely not God tier, definitely not good. I wouldn't even say it's okay. Meh would be generous. I'm not gonna lie, Sam, I think we got our first entry, but a booty cheeks.
Booty cheeks it is.
Let me know in the comments if you guys disagree, but in my humble opinion, I wouldn't pick it up. What do we got next? We got the Iron Man gauntlets.
So similarly to the Doom gauntlets, these things like never run out of ammo, and you're gonna have no cooldown. In addition to this, they not only have a thrust jump, but Iron Man can jet blast into the air for an extended amount of time high up in the air.
I mean, don't forget about the freaking auto aim that it has. I mean, literally, it wants to take being a controller player to the next level.
Yo, do you think your brother Scoped can
Yeah, I know.
against him.
Scopes in, they're like, bruh.
Tony Stark is a pretty popular guy, and that makes for an extremely congested POI, similar to Doom's Domain. Not to mention,
it's even worse.
It's Stark
It's
Industries.
even worse.
Stark, he has his whole own location, so because of that, you're gonna have even more people. It's crazy.
I think
That's
between
fair.
the auto aim, the mobility, the damage, and now keep in mind, obviously the damage is incredibly low, right? It only does like 25. So if we're saying the arcane gauntlets are kind of meh, to be honest with you, I'd say they're very close to the arcane gauntlets.
I think it should be on God tier.
That is a very fair statement. It's definitely good. The question is it God tier, right? I mean, I think anything that has auto aim technically would be God tier because there's no skill gap, you know what I mean?
If you talk
So
about
anybody could be insane with it.
We got to take Dr. Doom's gauntlets down a peg. That's
I
insane.
know.
Same with Surfboard. Let's move them both to okay. I think like
Compared to the gauntlets, honestly, they're both okay. And I guess we're gonna have to figure this out as we go on. All right, so next up we have the Iron Man UNIBEAM. And everybody already knows my opinion on this thing because it's insane.
For one, you've got a giant laser blast that fires off damage that not just damages, but pierces through builds, hitting the player in the process for a whopping 90 damage in pub matches and near 150 in the Marvel LTM. Really good for finishing off a weak enemy who boxes up. Like, have you ever been on the receiving end of these things?
It's so annoying. I mean, like, literally, it's one easy way to die once you get it. And let's be real, man. It is so satisfying to hit that UNIBEAM.
Yeah, but it's obnoxious late game when
It
everyone
does
is
so
weak
much damage.
trying to play zone. Are there any cons?
The biggest con to it, obviously, is that you gotta, one, it looks like you're kind of constipated when you sit there for a couple seconds, leaving you kind of exposed, right? For me personally, I don't look like I'm trying to take a big dookie when I'm trying to kill somebody. I don't know about you guys. However, even though with this con, I still think it's God tier. And the reason why is, one, just using it is so incredibly satisfying and overpowered. I mean, I typically hit 2 UNIBEAMs on the same guy because I'm pretty accurate, I guess, in Fortnite.
God tier for sure. I agree wholeheartedly.
The UNIBEAM! All right, next up we got Thor's Lightning Strike. Thor was the main selling point of Season 4, and here we are today realizing that not as great as you might think. Now, is he the worst? Probably not.
The lightning strikes allow you to strike a single area for damage, even through builds. One thing you need to consider too is like, this is more of a finishing item for when an enemy is weak and tries to box up. I feel like that's how we should look at it, because it almost reminds me of like an airstrike kill streak if you look at like FPS.
I'd say that it's definitely not booty cheeks. I wouldn't say it's meh, because you could hit 2 people with 100 damage at the same time.
It does not have, there's no second ability with the thing, and it is on the longer side of cooldowns. Like, not all the skins are worthy of wielding this thing. That's another thing to consider.
I would personally say that, and this is my opinion, that Dr. Doom's gauntlets are better than Thor's Strike. Because once again, keep in mind, it has the mobility, but it also has the non-stop spamming where Thor has a cooldown. Because keep in mind, it has 2 different abilities. Like, the gauntlets have mobility and non-stop
Think about
spamming.
it, like, stacked up against the surfboard. Do we move it up with the gauntlets and then move surfboard to meh?
I would have to say so. I would have to say so. You can't have something be okay if it can't kill anybody, am I right?
All right.
All right, we're gonna have to move that one down. Thor, you're all right. You're okay. All right, next up we got Groot's Bramble Shield, which I don't, does anyone even know what that means?
So, like, kicking off the pros of this thing, it's by far the best healing item in the game. You can't even argue.
Absolutely.
Groot's Bramble Shield can allow for a quick escape from not only players, but also the storm, and it heals you and your teammates in the process. It can also be used to avoid fall damage, to break through people's builds when jumping around, and it's pretty tanky in the Marvel LTM. I mean, you can suck up to 3 Dr. Doom gauntlet hits before it breaks. Needless to say, running away is more than just a tactic with this wrecking ball.
But you also bring up the point that it doesn't have any sort of offensive capabilities, and that is a big thing when it comes to kind of ranking these. If you can't hurt anybody with it, how valuable really is it? And I also will say this before we even give it a rank. Keep in mind, it doesn't even heal your shield, only white heals, so it's only worth that much.
That is,
I think in the Marvel LTM that we have, I would say it's kind of meh. It's not something that I'm super ecstatic to have, especially because you could already get heals with like She-Hulk or Wolverine. They have abilities that already heal you. So in public matches is really where you want to weigh it. And even then, I would still probably end up wanting to take maybe the Silver Surfer's board over it, and then be able to have, you know, shields and siphon and whatever else.
I'm thinking at least a good.
I kind of think it's meh, but I'll meet you in the middle on okay, because, you know, like I said, it's great mobility for rotating. You get breakthrough build, super easy to push people, and it does heal you. But like I said, you can't kill anybody with it, and I like the W key kids.
All right, on to Black Panther's kinetic armor.
RIP, by the way. You know, I don't know, man. It's definitely not my favorite. It's all right, like I said, but to be honest with you, I would probably say that Black Panther shield is booty cheeks, in my opinion.
I mean, are you using it as a shield, or are you using it as an attack, though? Because you do have to be close up and personal, and you do have to time it for it to be useful. But if you can do that, then it does double up as both an offensive thing that you can use, like, in those box fights. When you're boxed up, you need to get away very quickly. That's where it's going to really shine, because you can get away, but also it's going to explode the people's builds around you in the process.
Well, all right, we got a couple items on the list already. So honestly, you know, like I said, it doesn't do all that much damage, and it's a shield, but you still get hurt during it. So it's not like you're invincible from anything. I wouldn't say it's better. I would personally rather get the damage and then get automatically healed with GROOT'S ball than just, you know, take a little bit less damage right there.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think it's booty cheeks. Like, I think it has use, but maybe it's just not immediately apparent.
I would say the bomb is better than the armor, in my opinion, because that at least could do damage, like a lot more damage than it, right? So listen, man, I don't want to do this to Black Panther. Don't make me the bad guy here. Okay. There's going to be a cancel top 5 gaming on Twitter right after this video is posted if I put Black Panther as booty cheeks.
All right, we have to make the call. We're gonna move the bomb to the surfboard tier. We're gonna move it to meh, and we're gonna put Black Panther at booty cheeks.
It was Sam's decision. Cancel him, not me. All right. Before we get canceled, Sam, we got to keep moving on to number 9, which is Venom's Smash and Grab.
Oh, so Venom's Grab. I was definitely more excited for this one than I thought I would be, but after getting some hands-on gameplay, the thing is not only lethal, but if you watched our other video, you know it can do 5,000 damage to builds. Venom's Grab allows you to rip people out of the air or grab a runaway enemy, and if you have a solid shotgun and hit your headshots, it's extremely viable.
And especially if, like, even in the Marvel LTM, and I keep referencing it because that's pretty much the only game I played, it's super great if you got Wolverine's claws. I mean, look at it. Like, you see the gameplay that we're showing right now? It's insane how powerful it is.
Close range abilities. Even She-Hulk, if you pair this thing with that, you just yoink them out of the air, wherever. The downfall of Venom's ability is definitely the cooldown and heroes out of range. I mean, if you have Tony Stark, right, tracking you from mid to long range, you may not be able to grab him, and he'll just keep his distance and hold that range and punish you.
100%. Or even, like I said, you might be able to pull people over and do like 50 damage, but if they have the Silver Surfer board or any gauntlets where they could just easily fly away, well, you're kind of screwed. So let's take a look at the list and see what we're gonna do with it here. Honestly, like I said, I think it's
good.
Anywhere between okay to booty cheeks. What? I'm cool with any of those 3.
Really? I think this one is at least in the Thor category. That's like barely.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a, you know, I would definitely say more, like, if I were to give you a more accurate representation, right, I'd say okay to meh.
I still think we should move the Bramble up to good, because if you look at them as categorically as offensive and defensive, that's the number 1 item for healing and getting away and all of those other sorts of things. So I think that should be at least at good.
All right, I'll compromise. I'll give you the Groot. However, the Smash Grab, honestly, I'll give you okay. Next up, we have She-Hulk's Fists.
So She-Hulk is definitely a misunderstood hero in my opinion. And I say that because she has a pro not many people know about, and that's passive healing. That means that every given moment, She-Hulk's fists are slowly recovering health, which if you can play that smart is huge in combination with her jump smash, which pierces through builds, pressuring boxes, similarly to like Thanos' gauntlets, and her fists deal heavy damage if you can land that final blow in her punch combo.
Yeah, but you also gotta understand that, like, it's a little inaccurate, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, she is the ultimate button mashing hero, I guess. Literally, I just feel like the entire time that I'm with her, I'm just clicking. The jumps, I typically find, it doesn't go too far, so the mobility is there, but it's not amazing.
I feel like I'm on autopilot sometimes.
Literally, it's exactly like Wolverine, which we'll touch on later.
It's also a huge issue in pub matches, because when you slam down, similarly to the UNIBEAM, you're stuck in place for that brief moment, which will allow other players to unload. Overall, really predictable in a lot of ways and very weak against players at mid to long range.
I would say it's not booty cheeks because you got to think of how much damage She-Hulk does up close. And it's a lot. It's a lot.
She has a lot to offer.
I would say in early game, she's a lot better. In late game, I wouldn't say that she's that great. I would say meh.
Let's go.
All right, we got 3 left. We got Claws, Dash, and Tornado. Honestly, we gotta take Claws first.
Wolverine's Claws are gonna allow for massive potential for a combo ability. And what I mean by that is just his sheer ability to claw at people in rapid succession, stacking hits for damage. When Wolverine's close up to you, he's a serious threat. Like, it just feels like someone is running at you from every angle. And his ability to apply pressure similarly to She-Hulk is incredible.
Yeah, definitely. The mobility is absolutely insane. 100% Wolverine's Claws, one of the best mythic superhero items in the game. Like I said, they do an incredible amount of damage. When you get a Wolverine's Claws all on top of you and stuff like that, it's hard to get away. It doesn't matter if you have mobility items because he has the mobility to catch up with you and he does a lot of damage up close. Obviously, there's the con that the people who can fly can get away with him. So if you have the Silver Surfer's board and like Iron Man's gauntlets, you're gonna be able to do a lot of damage against him. However, like I said, you could only do it for so long until he catches up to you. Honestly, I'd say they're pretty good. I say they're good.
I agree with that. I think they're up there with Tony Stark for sure.
100%, 100%. I don't think that they're god tier because obviously of the.
Are you maybe are we thinking in terms of like this comboed with the dash though? Because that's a different thing entirely.
Oh, you're totally right. We didn't do dash. We didn't do dash.
It's just
all right. Well, you know, I think just Claws.
Maybe okay.
Yeah, I guess. You know, personally, if we're doing Claws and dash, I'd say good. But just Claws, you have no mobility. You're gonna get wrecked by those mid to long. Yeah, I'd say it's okay. You know, I'd say the dash is kind of meh, and the Claws are good. But when you combine them, obviously they're good, almost god tier, but not quite.
All right, Storm. Storm is an underrated hero because not only can you launch people into the storm, but you can also do a rotation and spin projectiles, or even things like Dr. Doom's ball the other way, and in some cases, right back at the enemy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can't you block people and be able to send stuff back, right? So that is pretty good. It's almost like using Black Panther's shield, but in a better way. All right, so we got our tier list open. Let's take a look. I definitely, like I said, I don't think that it's god tier or good. I wouldn't even say okay, like I said, just because it doesn't do all that much damage, and especially you're really only gonna get that value at the very final end circle, and that's kind of really difficult to get to, right?
Is it booty cheeks though? If Black Panther's gonna be down there, I feel like she has to be booty cheeks.
You're totally right. I think dash is definitely better. Jump smash is definitely better. Honestly, I think like I said with Tornado, it deflects a little bit, but you'll get destroyed right after. I think Tornado comes in at booty cheeks.
I agree with that. I agree with Tornado at a booty cheeks. This isn't even the full extent of abilities in game because there are even more coming soon. These rankings are, again, our opinion, even though I do fully anticipate a full-on Nexus war in the comments section regardless. But here's another video. Go check it out.
All right, this has been Tommy.
And this has been Sam.
And you're watching Top 5 Gaming.
What is a bramble?